Hello, I'm Professor Ellen Jakovich, and we're going to talk about risk and the correlation coefficient. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see that the correlation coefficient has a range from -1 to 1. So if we want zero risk, one way to get it is to find a stock that has a -1 correlation coefficient with stock A. What would that look like to give us that zero risk? Okay, I'm going to draw it for you. It would look like this. When stock A goes up, stock B goes down because they are perfectly negatively correlated. That's supposed to look like mirror images. So, stock A and B have a correlation coefficient of -1. This also equates to a risk-free portfolio of stock A and stock B, assuming you have the same amount of both of them. Because when one goes up, the other goes down, you have a risk-free 10% return if you have these two stocks. Pretty cool. Another way is to do a positively correlated stock that perhaps has a correlation coefficient of 1. That would move exactly the same as stock A. So let's see what that would look like. I'll use green. This is stock C. It's perfectly positively correlated with stock A. Now it could just go right over the blue line, or perhaps it starts a little higher in value and it mirrors it. Those would be perfectly positively correlated because they move exactly the same to economic shocks or whatever. So they're the same. Another way to do risk reduction would be to find two stocks that are perhaps positively correlated, but one lags behind the other. One immediately reacts to shocks in the economy, and the other one takes perhaps a month before it is reflected in the stock price. So comparing again to stock A, let's look what that would look like, and we'll do black. So when A goes up, stock D also eventually goes up. I don't know quite where it starts, so I'll say perhaps it looks like this. And then it comes down, and it goes down, and it mirrors sort of stock A, but just delayed. Okay, so stock D and stock A are positively correlated, but one has a lag. So what happens here is you reduce risk anyway, because look at this. When stock A is going down right here, what's happening to stock D? It's going up. So as a result, you end up with, assuming you have the same amount, 50-50 of A and D, you're going to end up with an average of the weights of the values of those two stocks, and it will reduce the risk. So there's lots of ways to reduce risk in a portfolio. So there's a pictorial of the correlation coefficient and its effect on risk.